Well, welcome back. Out here this morning, going to try and get the legs to this big stove cleaned up and then the primer. I got some other parts that I've got soaking in the electrolysis tank, but it's getting to be fall here and chilly, so the push is on to try and get this thing at least all in the primer before the cold weather really sets in, and then I can always put it together down in the basement in the warm. But if I can get it primered and paint and all the pieces painted, and I can get to reassembling this thing. Well, as you can see, we're getting there. Getting her all cleaned up, sanded down. A little more to do to this one, and then we'll get to shooting some primer on these. All right, we got a nice coat of primer on all of them. Leave that dry, nice light sand, and then we'll get the color sprayed on here. Once these are all painted, we'll move on to the next piece that I want to do. Well, now I'm proceeding to get the top shelf of the stove all cleaned up. Working on it with a wire brush and sander. We got this wrinkle in the end here. Don't show up real good on the camera, but we'll get that straightened up. Finish getting her cleaned up and get this all in the primer. And we're just going to keep moving right along. Try to get all these pieces done this week. Well, now I'm moving on to the stove top. Get this all cleaned up, ready to be painted. We're moving right along. I'm going to keep at this till I can see if I can get all these pieces ready. The only one I'm going to have trouble with is the back, because there's some rust repair. I haven't decided how I'm going to tackle that yet. All right, we got the bottom shelf and the drip pan wired up in the electrolysis tank. That'll get all that rust off there, make it quite a lot easier. Won't waste a whole bunch of time sanding. Well, we're coming along pretty good on this. I still got a couple wicks to get out of two of the burners, and I got to clean up the fuel rail and all that. But we're slowly getting there. Well, I'm working on cleaning the two side panels up here. I took the badge off. But this is a new Perfection model 894, and it was made in 1932. You can just barely make this out. This is stamped 1932. So we'll see. Got that bracket to clean up. Fuel rails back here, that's got to be cleaned up. Getting these two sides for the shelf cleaned up. We're slowly making progress. Kind of a neat project. We'll run up to the store and get some paint for it. See if we can get her painted this week at least. Then start reassembly. Yeah, we're starting to get some primer on some of these pieces. Get these things all painted. I got to go get some black paint. We're getting them primed. There's the four legs to the stove. They're repainted white like they should be. Let them dry really well. This is the top shelf to this stove. Got the first coat of white on the back part of it. And this part out here all gets black. So once that's all painted and dried, I'll tape it off and then spray this all down out here. Got the last two parts down in the electrolysis tank. That's getting pretty goopy. After they're done, I'll have to dump this and wash it out. But that's the last two parts that I'll need cleaned up and painted. And what this is the back of the stove up at the top, where it goes from the burners up to the shelf, and here's the top of the stove, the cooking surface where the 4 grates go in. But these are coated with porcelain, so ain't no reason to even try to paint them, but we are definitely making some good progress on this thing. Well, we're inching closer and closer. There's the legs, the drip pan, the back. Well, that's the upper back. There's the shelf and the shelf support bar here. We're getting closer. There's the top of the cooking surface of the stove. The grates all fit in them holes. Like I say, we're getting there. Slowly but surely. It's a pretty nice day to be out here working. Nice blue skies. I don't know how well that'll show up, but that's the bottom shelf that fits in underneath the burners. It's pretty pitted up, but we were able to salvage it, get it repainted. And I got the very back of the stove. It's the last thing to clean up and paint. And we are on the way back together. Got to get the fuel rail back across there, lay the drip pan in. Got to assemble this top. We're getting there. Well, I probably should have videoed it when it's still out back. We moved it in here along the house for some protection till I get it finished and put up in the storage area with the other ones, but there it is. I got a little overspray on that. I got to take mineral spirits and wipe that off. Drip pan's back in. Got to put the grates on, but I got 2 more wicks to get out of them burners, and then they'll all back on that fuel rail. And I got all 4 good chimneys for it. But there she sits. There's some touch-ups to do, paint the bolt heads yet. But we've come a long ways. Try to get it all in one shot here. But for a piece of junk that was they were going to plant flowers in it and leave it rotting to the ground. A jack handle there. But yep, there she sits. Hey, don't let anybody steal your joy. Go out and do what you like. I'll see you in the next one.